Hey, so we're here on first break. Look who I found. Look at this guy. He's a new tournament crusher, Taylor Carroll. Man, when he finished 4th in the charity, and then you went deep in the Millionaire Maker too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing well.
How you feeling in the main event today?
Pretty good. Pretty easy table. I'm just gonna like cruise and hopefully just get big hands. That's it.
What about just getting it in bad and winning?
I've done that a lot, so I'm gonna try and avoid that today.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. More conservative approach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right,
I'm gonna go with the net approach like you.
Yes, definitely the knit. So we're coloring up the black chips here, and I moved up to 197,000. A couple interesting hands from this level. I actually was all in. I got down to 98,000, and was in a spot. Well, I started this hand with 101,000. I got into a spot where this guy opened for 5K. I call with 10s, and in the field like an MP1. Small blind made it 20,000. I know the guy's pretty solid. Original razor folds. I call. Board comes out 9-4 deuce with 2 hearts. He bets 20,000. I call. Turns an 8 and he just jams for 80, which is like a pot-sized bet. And I folded an overpair. I would have been out if I was wrong. I just don't think he's fucking around with ace king. Then I was able to build it back up, and then I had this hand where I opened under the gun 1 with 10-8 of hearts, and the big blind defended, and the board came out ace queen 9 with 1 heart, and he checked, and I checked it back. The turn was the 7 of hearts, giving me an open-ended straight draw and flush draw. He checked, and I actually bet the pot. I bet 11,000, and he called. And the river was an offsuit jack, lovely card for me. He checked, and I bet 35,000, and he called. And that was able to build my image up, and then I chipped up to 197. So we played a couple levels. Last time I talked, it was at 197. The next level was pretty inconsequential, and to the end we went to dinner. I was at like 217. 2 hands I want to talk about, and they were sort of grueling. We came back from dinner with like 15 minutes left in the second level of the day, and I raised to 7,000 at 1,500, 3,000 from like MP1 with the ace jack offsuit. Guy in the big blind calls. I know him from mixed games, and board comes out 9-8-6 rainbow. He checks. I check behind. The turn is a jack, so it's 9-8-6 jack. No backdoors. And he bet 7,000, and I call. And then the river is a 9, so it's 9-8-6 jack 9, and he checks. And I thought this was a pretty clean-cut value bet. Like, if he had a straight, he just can't really expect me to bet a whole lot here at the end. So I didn't think he had a 9, so I bet 13,000. And surprisingly, he check raised me to 55,000, so it was 40,000 more for me to call. And I took a long time with it. Basically, finally came to the conclusion that I thought that he would be getting more he would have gotten more straightforward value by basically just betting, so that maybe he was turning something into a bluff or trying to get me off of some marginal sort of value bet, which is what I was making. And I finally put in the call. And he had 10-8 offsuit for just a pair of 8s that he turned into a bluff. That got me up to 286,000, and then probably the most difficult hand I've had here so far, maybe even the entire World Series, went down about 20 minutes ago against a guy. He said his name was Brandon Schwartz. I think he's the brother of Noah Schwartz. Looks like he's in his late 40s. He literally hadn't 3-bet the entire day. I played with him the entire day, and really hasn't bluffed at all. Like, I've limped into his blind quite a bit, and he hasn't really fought for any pots. And this was at 2K, 4K. I opened to 9,000 with ace queen off from under the gun +1 or +2. He 3-bet me to my immediate left to 22,000, which is a really small 3-bet. I mean, if it was a regular size 3-bet, I probably would have just folded, but I'm getting such an unbelievable price. It's like 41,000 in the pot, 13,000 for me to call. So I make the call, and the board comes out ace 10 7 with 2 hearts, and I check. And basically right now he's got about 136,000 behind. I have 213,000 behind after the call. I check, he bets 20,000. I call. So now the pot is like maybe 95,000, something like that. The turn's an offsuit 3, and I check, and he moves all in for 116,000 into like 90,000. And I did the math, and if I called, that would be down to like 75,000, which would be like 20 bigs, moving into like 15 bigs, and I was like, I know this is way far from equilibrium. This should be a call, but I just got a sense that he's gonna have to turn over so many ace king. I don't know if this guy 3-bet ace jack in his life, and he can't have tens. And I just, ace king sort of just like struck out at me, and I was like, it was so much time with it. And I finally folded ace queen in a 3-bet pot at that SPR with ace 10-7-3. Showed him the ace, tried to get him to talk. He said I was beat, and then we moved into the Amazon room, and then he said he had top set. I don't know what he had, because at the time when I asked him, I showed him the aces, what's behind it? And I said queen, and he was like, oh, you're beat. So I don't know if it was the right fold or not, but anyways, now I'm at 200,000. We've got 2 more levels to go. There's about 1,650 people left. We're going to be 400 more into the cash, and we're coming back at 2,500 5K, so I'm at 40 blinds. The average is like 300,000, so that was a tough one. Good call by me to the check raise on the river, and I made a huge fold right there. So anyways, let's see if we can spin this up. Holy shit. Well, had a good level going into almost the money bubble now, and it all started with me not going with a hand. I started with 200,000 and then went down to like 30 blinds, and I opened for a raise from the cutoff with ace 10 off, and this guy in the button 3-bet me, this older German guy, and I was really close to going with it. He's like, I always have strong hands, I'll show you, and I folded, and he showed me kings. And then I sort of caught a punt where this Euro guy opened. I had about 28 blinds. I called an MP1 with ace jack of hearts. Guy behind me on the button called. Board came out ace 10-5 with 2 spades. Or ace 10 deuce with 2 spades. Guy checked. I bet 20,000. Guy folded. This guy called the initial raiser. Turn was a deuce, so it's ace 10 deuce. And now he just puts me all in from up front. At this point, I'm getting 2-1, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I can't fold here. If he's got ace king or ace queen, so be it. So I called, and he had ace 8 of diamonds. Really strange by him, the way that he played that. You can see the background of the Rio here. So I got that double up. And then, crazy enough, I give a shout out to my boy Taylor Carroll, who made the final table of the Veterans event. I picked up aces, busted a guy. Then 20 minutes later, I pick up aces again. This guy 3-bets me in the small blind, this older guy. I click it back thinking he's going to go with it, and he just folds. And then the very next hand, I pick up aces again, 3 times back to back, the last 2. And I raise, and he 3-bets me. The same guy 3-bets me again, and we basically get it in, and he has kings. So I get a huge heap, and I'm up to 485. And then maybe the most incredible hand so far. The last hand before we go on break, which is actually a little bit into the last level, they played into the last level at 3K, 6K, I've got 485. I open on the button to 15,000 with jacks. And the same German guy that showed me the kings, he's got like 350. He keeps talking about all he wants to do is cash. So he's got like 70 blinds or 60 blinds. He raises me to 200,000 in the small blind, committing himself. So I open at 2.5x, he raises to 200,000, which would basically be a 60 big blind shove. And I start talking to him like, you got a big hand, you got a big hand. He's like, I have a stellar hand, premium hand. I start thinking about this, and I'm like, if this guy's really only doing this with aces, kings, and queens, and even ace king, it's about half those combos. And when I've got, when he's got ace king, I'm like 55%. When he has a higher overpair, I'm 18%. You average those two. 73 divided by 2 is about 36% against that range. And I'm not getting the price because it's such a gross overshove. So I just open fold jacks to a single 3-bet. And he shows me ace king suited, but I still think it's the right fold. It's just insane that I just folded jacks basically on the button to a single 3-bet, which was basically a 60 big blind shove to a guy that really wants to cash. And that's some of the dynamic that goes on around the main event bubble. People really want to cash, and they're just don't want to have their hands busted, so they do some crazy stuff. So one more level, and next time I talk to you guys, we're going to be the money.
Everybody, and thank you for being patient with all of us. We have our bubble for 2019, Mr. Ryan Puchedli. We know that he wasn't victorious in the main event, but we're going to give him another chance on behalf of the World Series of Poker.
Yeah!
We got a seat into 2020, so we get to try again next year. Congratulations, my friend. We also have something very cool for you, which is an autographed souvenir of many of the most famous poker players to take along with you. So you have that, which is kind of cool. You got 10,000 for next year. We're going to see you again, my friend. All right, Ryan. Congratulations.
I'm too excited.
Thank you.
You made the
And
money.
good luck to all the players in the main event. We'll see you tomorrow.
Good job, guys.
Hey, bud, what's your name?
Dean.
Dean. So you
Maroney.
brought in for $100, right?
$100 bucks, man.
Brought in for $100?
This is big for me.
$100.
Let's go. Woo! This is big, man. Thanks, brother.
Good job, young man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. It's a whole new tournament now.
So are we bagging or are we playing the rest of the level out? My didn't record. My friend Andreas, this is the guy I folded the jacks to. There, now I got
Don't make a movie for me.
this guy right here to a single raise.
He's a good one.
So we're in the money. We're in the money. We're in the money, and it was the best of all worlds for me because we didn't have any super short stacks at my table, and we were playing fast. No one was stalling, and I was one of the big chip leaders, so I was able to chip up. Me and this other guy took turns raising every hand and got out of there with 581, which is definitely above average. I think we're going to be coming back for 3-6 a little bit and then 4-8. So it's going to be like 70 blinds-ish, and the average is like 400,000. It's like 50. So I'm excited, man. I haven't made the money in the main event since 2010, and it's interesting how these things go, right? Like, because it's like, I remember in 2007, I got 9th in the 1500, and then I went deep in the main. So, and these things clump together a lot. So I'm real excited. I'm looking for a big run. So, woke up I gotta wake up early here. It's like 9:30 in the morning. I gotta walk from Vidara over to Aria to pick up $800 in free play before it expires tomorrow, and I might not get the chance. So, first world problems. All right, so it is day 4, and we're in the money. We're coming back. I have above average chips at 581. I'm at Vidara right now, and this is the last day. So if I continue to make it on, you'll see me at Caesars, or tomorrow morning I'll be here in front of this bush again too. But it's interesting, I have Antonio Esfandiari at my table, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get broken really fast. I'm crossing my fingers because he's to my left, and even though he's not a guy that plays like in high rollers and stuff, I know people that have played against him in this specific tournament, and he's definitely tough to play against. Obviously, he's played super nosebleed stakes, so for me, it's a crapshoot. Hopefully, Pavilion will break high to low, and I'll instantly break. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to play with him for a couple levels. Give you guys level updates as we go. Just hold it like this.
I have only one hand.
Just hold it like this. So
Oh, it's hot. Fucking hot. Oh, I don't have any hand.
forget it.
How can I hold it? Oh, it's hot.
This place is always crazy. You gotta watch yourself. You're gonna get killed coming in here. It's a constant battle. Anytime you come in when there's any number of people here, it's ridiculous.
Right.
So we're on first break. Started off actually really well. Like got up to like 800,000 right away. Antonio's to my left. We battled like a couple of times, but there was one hand where this guy just punted to me, like one of the worst punts I've ever seen. This guy opened with $130,000 stack and a cutoff to like minimum, and I called with Jack 8 offsuit in the big blind. The board came out Ace Jack 9, and he checked, or I checked, he bet, and I called. The turn was a 9. I checked, he bet again, and I was a little bit dicey, but I made the call again. And then the river was a jack, so it was Ace Jack 9 Jack. He had like 100,000 left in his stack, and I bet 70,000 basically. and because I didn't want him to check back an ace, and he moved all in, and obviously I called and I was expecting to see like pocket aces or some shit, and he turned over ace 7 offsuit. So he moved all in on the river with ace 7 offsuit. He's like, just an ace, just a total punt. I won a hand against Antonio where he made a small 3-bet when I opened ace jack off from under the gun, and I called, and I flop ran out jack high and check called the bet, and I went check check and I won. And then he won when I opened 9s and he 3-bet me on the button, and I called and check called once on a king queen 3 2-spade board. I had black 9s, and then check folded the turn. But then I got moved to this table with about 700,000, and so I don't know a lot of players. I do have Ralph Perry next to me to my right, and this guy opens from +1 to like 17,000, and I call him a cutoff with ace jack of diamonds. Big blind also calls short. Board comes out 9-5-5 with 2 diamonds. Big blind checks. This guy bets kind of on the small side, like 18. He raised to 16 pre. I thought about raising actually, but I thought I had like the nut flush draw and some showdown value, so I just called. The big blind folded. The turn was an ace, brought a backdoor club draw, so it's 5-5-9 ace, 2 diamonds, 2 clubs. He bets 36,000. I call again. The river is a king that brings a backdoor flush, club flush, and now he bets 110,000. I probably should have taken a little bit more time with it, 110 into 150. But I just thought it was such a great triple barrel card, and I'd be chopping with a lot of hands, but I don't know if he's betting just an ace. But I did call with an ace, and he flipped over his hand. It looked like ace rag, and I thought we were going to chop, but he actually had ace 9 of hearts, so he had aces and 9s. So I lost like 150,000 in that hand, and then I was at about 500,000, and this hand goes down where the same guy opens for minimum from +1, +2, and +3 call. I'm like in that low jack or high jack with pocket 10s, and I go to 67,000, so 16 call. I 3-bet to 67,000 with 10s. This is at like 60, 65 blinds. Gets back around to him, and he 4-bets to like 160,000, which with those guys flatting like to his left, especially the first guy, when people will flat like with big hands there, I just thought that he was really strong, probably like ace king minimum, and I mean, it's just going to be a shove for me, and I just didn't want to get in 60 blinds in a 4-bet pot with 10s. I think it's way too marginal from a lot of the punts. I mean, I think it's right fold. I think I go with obviously queens and ace king. Definitely ace king suited. Jacks is sort of dicey too, but definitely fold 10. So I'm at 430,000 now, which is going to be 43 blinds. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little below average, but I mean, I know how to like mitigate this stack. So I'll come back and give you another update. All right, we're here on second break, and wow, the very first hand coming back to that level, I played a huge flip and I won. And that was a common story in my long run of the monster stack. I limped in the small blind with pocket 9s at about 41 blinds. And this guy had raised my big blind after doing that 2 times before, and I just sort of felt that it was coming. He made it 3.5x, so I limped for 10. He made it 35, and I just jammed all in for 400,000. And he snap called, and I thought I was fucked, but he had ace king, and my 9s held up. Other than that, not a whole lot. I mean, sort of like ups and downs in that level. I'm at about 660,000, something like that. We're coming back at 6K, 12K, so it's like 55 blinds. The average is probably like 65 blinds. It's probably really close, and there's probably like 700 people left. So that's that from this level. Well, unfortunately, it's come to an end. And I'm a little bit disappointed, but I think I made the right play. And, you know, it's just so funny when you look back at some of these hands from this vlog. I make some of these crazy exploitable folds, like with the jacks hand yesterday and the ace queen. And I just got into a spot coming right back after the break where I just felt like I just could not fold to this particular player. I actually won a pot. I 3-bet Ralph Perry. So I had jacks, so I was up to like 700,000, and the blinds were like 612. So you know, maybe like 60 blinds, something like that, 60 big blinds. And his hand goes down where I open king, queen of hearts from like, I want to say the hijack, and the cutoff 3-bets me. And this guy has been relentlessly 3-betting me, like relentlessly 3-betting me. And sometimes I've called and check folded flop, but it looks really to me like he's capable. And I've seen him bluff too and run some big bluffs. So he's not a Euro, he's actually from Florida, but you know, definitely like not your regular main event player, which is kind of interesting because you have to adjust to it. So I open at 25,000, he 3-bets to 80,000. I call, and oh, look who it is. Here, since I'm doing my first vlog, well, I'm just talking about my bust out hand. Look,
All right.
it's Jeff Boski.
Oh, shit.
How you doing in there?
Just busted the main.
Oh, me too.
Oh, sweet.
Wait, what, so 20,000 or what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
4 away from the pay jump. I didn't
Yeah,
stall.
I was at like 686 too, so.
670.
Oh, there you go. Beat me.
What a joke. Just remember, always look at the camera. Don't look at the screen.
Yeah.
It's just like you're looking in the distance.
Yeah, right. No, I know. I've learned that. Yeah. Cool.
It's tough.
So,
You
yeah.
have a YouTube vlog now?
No, I'm just going to put out one for the main event.
Oh, okay.
Just
on Instagram or?
And on YouTube.
Oh,
I do the call-in shows on YouTube. So I always put up content on YouTube, the Crush Live call-in shows.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
about
so I'm just going to do this and see how it turns out. So,
that. Yeah. You'll get feedback. Good, bad, or ugly, for sure.
all right, man.
It's a learning experience.
Jeff Boski.
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 Come on.
Jeff
Boston accent.
Jeff Boski. Check his
Always
vlog
do.
out. Check his vlog out.
Jeff Boski on YouTube. Best tournament poker vlog in the world. #1.
All right.
Because everybody else plays cash games.
It's true. It's true. Everybody else does play cash games. That was a nice treat. So, thanks, Jeff. So I opened a 25K, and he makes it 80, and I call, and the board comes out king 5, king queen of hearts, comes out king 4-4, rainbow, 1 diamond, 1 heart. I check. He bets 50,000. I call. The turn is the 10 of diamonds. Puts a backdoor diamond out, draw the king and the 10 are diamonds. And I check, and now he bets 125. And I call. And the river is an offsuit 6. So it's king 4-4, 10-6. The diamonds miss. I don't have a diamond in my hand. I check, and he moves all in. So I started the hand with 700,000, and I had put in 80 pre, 50 on the flop, 125. So 250 of, I had like 450 left. I counted it up, which is still like almost 40 blinds. But so I could have just taken the conservative route and folded. But to be honest with you, I think I have to call there, especially if I'm 4-betting a lot of ace kings. I really have, you know, one of the best hands I possibly can have there. I mean, I guess maybe occasionally I might have ace 4 suited. But I might 4-bet that more than call from that spot. So, I mean, I took some time with it, and I just finally called. And then the guy had pocket 10s. So that was that. And I won $20,000. I don't know the next time I'm going to try to do this vlog because it was all done by hand. So we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for all the support. I'm taking the walk of shame out as these guys go out on break. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching this video, and if you like what you've seen, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to check out poker training videos, head over to crushlivepoker.com. You can use the coupon code in the description for the first month for free.